Hello, how are you guys doing? Today's one is a little long, but I wanted to cover in depth the types of grip breaks you can get from attacking a key lock. I didn't really cover too many of the Kimura grips. I kind of just forgot at the time, and there's a lot that I can cover, so I might have done that in another video that I recorded the other day, so hopefully I'll get it up there. If not, I'll get it up soon, but trust me, it's in some good stuff. You're gonna like it. We have Paul, and we're gonna just kind of get like outside view of what I'm talking about. So this hand is always going to be under here, kind of curling it like this. This hand is going to be under here, curling the shoulder like that. Very important that I keep control of this shoulder. Okay. So now Paul's going to do the frame on me. So he's going to put his hand on my shoulder. And he's going to use his elbow to kind of lift my head up. So there you go. See how it goes right into my throat? So go really tight in my throat. There you go. Now you can see that it affects my vote. Hold it, just hold it. So now don't let go, okay? You want to maintain this. So say I'm trying to grab here, like I taught Paul, and it's just not working. So it's just too strong. I can't get it, right? So that, which is most likely going to be the case. I'm going to take this hand here, spread it over top, right? And then I'm just going to put my forearm to the mat, so don't let me do this, okay? Now I'm here. I can sit here forever. I'm going to curl, bring it down, and I'm going to lift the elbow up, and really just wreck that. So we'll break that down what I did. So he's holding my shoulder. He does not want me to do this, right? I'm traditionally here, I'm pulling here, and this just isn't working. I can use my chin, kind of just pry it off. Just kind of pry. Now my chin is on his wrist. I'm holding it here. I'm gonna roll underneath. I'm gonna grab his wrist. Now I've got control of his wrist. Once I got control of his wrist, his hand here underneath, that's going to touch my wrist. So I'm going to then use my forehead, push his head to the mat. And then I'm going to roll my hand over top of mine, grabbing it. Okay? So now he's here. This is just, I'm trying, and it's not working. So that's when I'm going to maintain this grip here. So that's when I'm going to put my hand here. So I'm trying to open up his elbow and push it down. Now I'll get to a point where I'm using my jaw to keep this off of my shoulder, just prying it, keeping my hand ready to grab his wrist, and he's just not letting me, so don't let me, okay? He's being really tight. So I'm then gonna have to take this hand here, and I'm gonna have to take this bottom hand here and put on top of this wrist. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just pop myself up, and then put my hand on this wrist. And then I'm going to push. As I push, I kind of push like away. And then you notice I'll then slide my hand here onto his wrist. This here is now going to have a hard time getting underneath. So I'm going to start at his armpit. I'm just going to wiggle my arm in, just doing this. And then I get my wrist, and then that's all she wrote. Okay? So, he's strong on here, and I'm going to be a new way where I'm going to go right onto his throat, right? That's not good for him. So, I'm going to be here keeping my chest really low, then I'm going to take this hand here, and I'm just going to put on his bicep. Making my grip here. Breaking that grip here. The problem with that is he can go either way now. He can go left or right. He can go towards his pants. So he goes towards his pants. I'm going to drop my arm down here, blocking that, grabbing his wrist, sliding his hand underneath, getting the Kimura. Now he's going to straighten his arm out as we talked about, and as he does that, I flare my arm outwards. Got my hand on his the forearm, and then I go elbows in and down. It's not a lot. If I can, the more I can get to his wrist, the better. But this is still pretty sweet. Now he's going to turn towards his ear, his palm up towards his ear. Bring his hand towards his ear. As he's bending, I have flare up here. Lifting it, grabbing that underneath here, using my chin to hold his elbow. As I put my arm out, grabbing his wrist. So I grab his wrist, curl it in, bring it to the ground, roll my hand up, heel up. It's pretty intense. So, if he's here, right, and I've got this grip, there's another way he can do is he can let go of his hand, right, and he can go underneath my head, and then he can grab. Can you bring his hand up? Now, link your hands together, okay? So you can see now he's grabbing both of his hands. Now, this is a very simple fix for me too. I'm just gonna see my hips are high. I'm gonna drop my hips, right? I'm gonna take this hand and put it on top, so I slide it in. And then this is gonna be kind of awkward at first, but it will break. So this hand here is now gonna go dropping my elbow here for to balance, because I'm gonna lift this one up. So then I lift, and I'm gonna grab my hands together, putting it on my chin. I'm gonna use my head and my forearms, just gonna stretch. And that breaks that grip. Now his hand here, he can go wherever he goes, doesn't matter. So go to his arm, I'm gonna block it, I'm gonna go underneath, put my weighter grip in, use my chin to hold the wrist, pull the wrist out. He's got a straight arm lock, I'm gonna go underneath, I'm gonna catch the key lock. Now he's gonna not let me, that's okay, because I'm gonna take it. Re-grip my hand, curl his wrist, bring it. We're not gonna pull it. So now he's gonna go over top of my shoulder. So now he's going to work both hands over top of my shoulder. He's just going to palm to palm, just palm to palm. There you go. And he's going to grip down on my shoulder. He does not want me to take this arm to the life of him. Now this is a very interesting grip. So I'm going to put my hand on top of it. And now I'm on top of his shoulder. He's going to keep that grip. Now I'm going to put my weight in this direction. So I'm going to put my hip that's here on the ground, and then this foot is going to go up in the air. So we still got that grip. What I'm going to do then is I'm going to put my hand in this pocket. I can put this hand on top of my hand. Break that grip. So as tight as you can. Okay, now I'm going to break the grip. I throw my shoulder towards his hand, creating a wall, and just pushing. Rolling to my side. Putting a lot of pressure here on his shoulder. Make sure it doesn't move. On top, to the mat, right underneath, grabbing my.
Newsflash, submissions are super dangerous. You really have to be careful when practicing them. You don't want to hurt the person training with you, and you don't want to be hurt by your partner. Be sure to take it slow and be safe. Communicate with your partner and let them know when you want to be released. When practicing joint locks or chokes, treat them with respect.